So you want to play Gamecube in 2020? Maybe you played it as a kid and want to retreat back to a time when things didn't seem so end of the worldy. Maybe you weren't even born during the GameCube's heyday and want to find out what Paper Mario fans have been bitching about. Either way, you might want to watch this guide before you make the jump because it's more complicated than you think. The GameCube never got any kind of virtual console release, and remasters are few and far between. Out of all Nintendo's home consoles, the GameCube is actually the only one not to have any kind of modern means to play the games. So basically, there are two methods to play GameCube games in 2020. Number 1. First things first, get a Wii. That's right, I said a Wii. Yeah, this is my Wii that I got in 2007. It's been through some shit. Don't even bother with an original GameCube unless you're a collector or something. How come? Well, there's a few reasons. A cursory glance on eBay reveals that used GameCubes and Wiis almost cost the same. The Wii is more or less a souped-up GameCube and can basically run its entire library. The Wii is more ergonomic. You'll have an easier time fitting it into your existing setup. The GameCube, as much as I love it, has a pretty awkward design by modern-day standards, and I feel like it's harder to find a place for it. Thank God no one designs consoles like this anymore. And finally, for the same price, you'll have twice as many games. You'll gain access to the entire Wii's library, which is also filled with a bunch of gems. Just make sure you get the original model, not the Wii Mini. That one can't play GameCube. Okay, next step. You gotta get some component cables. What are those? Well, basically they're a step up from the regular AV cables that come with the Wii. Yeah, I don't even have time to explain why they look like this. Let's just say that there were a couple reasons I needed new cables. On modern TVs, those games will not look good with the standard AV cables. Hell, I got a new TV and AV cables won't even work on it. This is also another reason to get a Wii over a GameCube. The Wii's component cables are pretty decently priced, while the GameCube's... yikes. There's also these AV to HDMI converters, but I've always heard mixed things about them when it comes to picture quality, and I've never owned one myself. If that sounds like a nicer deal to you, just do some research to make sure you're not getting something crappy. Okay, so you got your Wii, you got your component cables, what's next? Controllers. Let me tell you, I love this thing. I think this is Nintendo's best designed controller. In a perfect world, you'd get a Wavebird, which is basically just a wireless version of the GameCube controller. But they can get pretty pricey, especially if you want a new one. Holy shit. You'll see some knockoffs, but I'd generally avoid those for the Wavebird. Either put up the money for a real one or stick with a wired controller. Speaking of wired controllers, don't be fooled by what you see online. You'll find a bunch of seemingly reasonably priced ones, but almost all of these are knockoffs. You'll have to pay attention and make sure you're looking at a legitimate one, which you'll probably be able to tell by the price. But, unlike the Wavebird, there are actually some decent knockoff controllers. Basically, I'd sum up the controller situation like this. If you're just going to be playing by yourself, I honestly think it's worth it to shell out some extra money to get a legitimate Wavebird. It's probably the best way to experience playing GameCube. However, if you plan on playing any of the GameCube's great party games, which you should, then you'll need to get 4 controllers. And 4 Wavebirds could also get you a down payment on a car. If you want to play party games and are on a budget, I'd recommend looking into some of the knockoff wired controllers. Do your research though. Look at the brand, Google it, and find out what people say. I have these, and they get the job done, but I still prefer playing with my Nintendo-made GameCube controller, even though it's missing a thumb pad. So yeah, if you can afford it, get a Wavebird or a legitimate wired controller. Nothing beats it. But there are serviceable knockoffs out there, you just have to be careful. We can start playing games, right? Not yet. You need a memory card. That's right, kids. There was a time when your games didn't save onto the console itself, and you needed to buy a whole other thing just so you could pick up where you left off in Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. Luckily, these aren't as expensive as the rest of them, and you can get a whole 16 megabytes for about 15 or 20 bucks. Okay, so we got a Wii, we got our component cables, we got a memory card, and a controller. So now we're at the fun part. Let's pick out some games. And here you'll discover the bane of every GameCube player's existence. This is our Sisyphus, our rock that we have to push up a mountain for all of eternity and learn to love because we have accepted that this is our life. GameCube games are expensive. Just look at these prices. It's pure insanity. Why are they so outrageously expensive? Well, there's a few reasons. The The GameCube's low sales meant less games were sold, and less games being sold means they're harder to find now. Most GameCube games aren't even available on other systems, and the console itself seems to be enjoying a surge in popularity right now. All of this has created an economy where most people have to decide between buying Chibi Robo or paying their rent. You think I'm loaded by showing you all these games? I'm just lucky. Most of this stuff is from when I was a kid. If I wanted to play Path of Radiance now, I'd have to sell a kidney. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a ton of advice for you here. Watch eBay like a hawk and just look for good deals. Be prepared to make compromises. You'll get games without manuals, in shit condition, and without cases. Okay, so you got your Wii, you got your component cables, a memory card, some controllers. You've got a few games and a couple less internal organs. You sit down to play, and yeah, it's pretty fun. You won't be eating for a couple weeks, and your credit score's taken a hit from the loan you had to take out to buy Gotcha Force, but in this moment, it feels so worth it. Alright, what was that other method? Number 2. Download the Dolphin emulator on your PC. Done.